Serviced accommodation is a big thing nowadays. A lot of people are doing serviced accommodation instead of buy-to-let. It's almost become like the new buy-to-let in some areas. You have access to serviced accommodation type products?
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it can be done through a personal name or through a limited company, there are lenders with an increasing appetite for that sector. And that's to hopefully match the demand. It is a little bit more expensive than standard vanilla buy-to-let, but there are lenders out there with an appetite and a willingness to lend up to 70-75% for what they would term short-term buy-to-let or service accommodation. A couple of lenders, unless there's a track record of 2 years of rental income through booking agents or however they generate the money on the short term. If there isn't that evidence, a lot of lenders look at what the property would fetch on a long-term letting basis and use the stress test to calculate the maximum loan on that basis.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And just to be clear, for anybody who's watching this and wondering what serviced accommodation is, it is short-term rentals. It's sort of Airbnb-ing a property, really, isn't it? We could also call it holiday lets, although it's not necessarily that you're going to let the property to somebody on holiday. It's just somebody who's taking a room short term or taking the property short term.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a bit of a closed sector, to be honest with you. But I think certainly over the last couple of years there are more numbers of mainstream lenders and specialist lenders who will consider it. However, the key thing for most of the lenders is the rental assessment's generally going to be done as though you're going to rent it on a long-term basis, unless you can provide minimum of 2 years accounts and booking receipt info.
And then they'll look at it as a little mini business on the cash flow.
They will look at it on that basis, but it must be 2 years as a minimum.
Okay. But for somebody starting now, their goal should be make sure you can maximise your cash flow for the next 2 years and then go and put it onto a bespoke product.
Absolutely. And you've got to remember, most of the short-term, it's very rare for an existing short-term business to be sold. And more often than not, it's a standard property, which people then convert into short-term lets or service accommodation model. So more often than not, there won't be a track record in my experience. But the other thing to factor in is demand, viability for long-term rental, because that's how lenders generally will assess it in the event you don't have a 2-year track record.
I hope you found this video useful and informative, and if you did, then please come over to my website www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk, where you'll find loads more great property related resources, including free special reports to download and my best-selling series of ebooks, which includes the Successful Property Renovators Workshop, 63 common defects in investment property and how to spot them. And if you're just starting out in property, or if you want to grow your portfolio, you may be particularly interested in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, in which I'll take you through exactly how I started and built my property portfolio, starting literally with none of my own money, and how I built a portfolio of £2 million worth of property in just 4 years. And that was starting from scratch. I'll take you through everything that I did right so that you can copy me and do the same. And I'll also show you everything that I did wrong so that you can avoid the mistakes that I made and so that you can progress in property and be far more successful, far more quickly than I ever was. And this is based upon my own real life experience. And it took me about 4 years to actually work out how to do property investing properly. But in the 200 pages in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, I'm going to show you all of that 4 years knowledge condensed down so that you can use it immediately. And until next time, here's to successful property investing.